Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Natty Spice Flamin' Hot Reviews. I'm back after a very long absence. I saw a new, sort of a Flamin' Hot product, but really a Cheetos product that I really wanted to try, and I just thought it would be fun to make a review for. So today we are going to be reviewing the new Cheetos Buffalo flavor. Now, this isn't exactly a Flamin' Hot product, of course. We can't expect it to be likely as spicy as a Flaming Hot Cheeto would be, or a similar Flaming Hot type of product. But I thought that this was sort of similar enough, sort of in the same vein, if you will, that it could still fit the content of this channel. So, yeah, if you haven't watched one of my videos in a while, my rating criteria, or maybe if you've never seen one before, my rating criteria is usually based off of flavor, sort of texture, and spiciness out of 5. So I will be trying the product and giving it my review that way. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. And I will say this will be my first time having these. I got these last night, but I waited to eat them until I could film the review. So here is what they look like. Hopefully you can see and it's focusing well. But honestly, it looks sort of similar to a Flamin' Hot Cheeto, but not quite as red, obviously. It's almost sort of like a middle ground between a regular Cheeto and a Flamin' Hot Cheeto in a way. Like, it definitely has a different flavor to us. It's darker in color, but it's not quite that rich red that you come to expect from a Flamin' Hot Cheeto. So let's go ahead and just give it a try. Well, I have to say my first impression is pretty good. Right off the bat, I mean, texture-wise, these are just Cheetos. I mean, they're good. Cheetos texture, fantastic. You know, sort of if there's nothing wrong with it, don't try to fix it, right? Sort of thing. So these are just your standard crunchy Cheetos, essentially with just a different flavoring. But I think that the Buffalo does lend itself well to this sort of crunchier texture, right? I mean, obviously, Buffalo wings are sort of the prototypical template for this sort of flavor. And I think that this nice crunchiness, like the crunchiness of, say, the, breading on a wing or something like that, it's sort of a nice analog for that. So overall texture, I would give a nice 5 out of 5. I mean, obviously, it's a Cheeto. It's good. It's a good texture. What can I say? Flavor-wise, though, that's where these really work. I have to say, I think that these are delicious. Especially because you get a lot of the nice Buffalo flavor, that sort of buttery, hot sauce, not too spicy, which of course I'll cover more in the next section of the review, but really not too spicy, but just enough kick. And it's a different sort. It's very much a cayenne kick, which is sort of similar. And I've talked about this in some of my other videos where, different types of peppers, different types of spiciness that are used to make these flavorings tend to have different flavor notes. And I would say even different types of like spiciness. So this is just like a nice, like sharp kind of spiciness. Like it hits you immediately. It doesn't last too, it doesn't last too long. Just gives you that nice kick that you're kind of looking for in this sort of snack. And I think in particular, what really sells the flavor of this for me is that you're still getting some of the Cheetos cheesiness, right? And so I think perhaps unintentionally, you almost sort of get this like buffalo and blue cheese flavor, just sort of incidentally by having those sort of cheesy, savory notes that you would come to expect from a regular Cheeto. So overall flavor, I mean, my initial impression of this, I'm going to try one more just to sort of confirm. They're really good. I'm going to try 2 more. I mean, like I said, they're delicious. For me, this is a 5 out of 5 for flavor. I like it a lot. I could see myself picking these up another time. You know, maybe I wouldn't always reach for this as compared to Flamin' Hot Cheetos. But this is really close. Flavor, I want to give this a 5 out of 5. As I said, I think it's really good. Very much worth trying. Spiciness is where I'm going to just take off a little bit of points, because I do think it could be a little spicier. That said, this is more what I would label as sort of like an entry level, like Flamin' Hot product, you know. If you're not someone that typically eats a lot of spicy foods, but maybe you're trying to get a bit more into it, I think that this is a good snack to sort of start easing yourself into. But overall, I would like just a little bit more heat. It's good, and like I said, it's very much like it's there on the initial bite, but it doesn't really sit on your tongue, which is kind of fine for me. Because I find, especially when you eat a lot of these, you know, you're just eating and eating, the spiciness can, you know, the ones that kind of stick around in your mouth, they like build and build, and it can sort of become uncomfortable almost after, if you're eating enough, like I tend to do sometimes. But overall, I think the spiciness could just be a little bit more. I'll give it a 4 out of 5, which is still really good, of course. And overall, I'm very pleased with this snack. I mean, I think it's really great. I think Buffalo, in a way, it's sort of one of those products where it's like, I'm surprised that this didn't come out sooner, right? It sort of just feels like natural, like, well, of course there would be Buffalo Cheetos. But this is, at least personally, my first time seeing them was last night when I took a trip to my local gas station. But I'm pleasantly surprised. I think these are absolutely worth trying if you've not had them yourself. If you had had them, please feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. And I'm happy to reply and give my own further thoughts if you'd like. Feel free to please like and share and, you know, whatever else with the video. Subscribe to my channel. But, you know, full disclosure, cards on the table, you might be watching this video. You might be thinking, is this the triumphant return of Natty Spice? We're going to get regular uploads now? And I would say the answer to that question is probably not.